studios of TLC Talk Radio. It's DT on our minds. I'm your girl, Tasha.
And I'm that fat girl, Dana.
And we have traded places if you're watching the video. Don't forget to follow us on our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And I just forgot all the social media channels, apparently.
We don't have a MySpace, and we're not getting one.
I wonder what my MySpace was. I don't
even know what the password is. Like,
I don't even remember the username, let alone the password.
Me either. Well, it was probably Danu because that was my thing back in the day.
What now?
Danu.
Yeah, you're going to elaborate.
Danu is a Celtic goddess.
Okay.
When I started studying Wicca back in the day, because I've studied like 7 different religions to figure out what's real, and Danu kind of was close enough to my name.
Okay.
Because it's just my name with a U.
Right.
And she's a Celtic goddess of rivers and water and that kind of stuff. And she's, cool. And I'm all about water because I'm a Cancer, so it all kind of made sense.
I don't follow the signs. I'm clueless. People, when I say when my birthday is and people go, oh, you're a Virgo. And I'm like,
yeah.
All right, then.
Yeah, I am.
I guess.
Whatever that means.
Yeah. And then, somebody normally tries to describe me. Sometimes they're spot on, and other times they're not. And I'm like,
That's because there's a lot more in your signs than just your sun sign.
I'm here clueless.
I studied it a little, but I used to hang out with people who were like total astrologists. So I know a lot more in-depth things.
Okay.
Yeah. Like your whole chart of when you were born. You're looking at me like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, you might as well be speaking French. And yes, I took French in high school, but I did not go to class. Bad. So, yeah.
I took Spanish, but I know Yo tengo el baño. I have a bathroom. That's all I remember. 2 years of Spanish.
That's what
Yo tengo el baño.
All right.
That's all I got.
Yeah. My favorite was ferme la bouche. Shut your mouth.
Oh.
Or ferme la grande bouche.
Such a big mouth? Nice.
Yeah. Our teacher said that a lot.
Wow.
She wasn't speaking to me. Our class was rowdy.
Really?
And ridiculous and off the chain and disrespectful. Like, I think I don't believe in beating up other people's kids unless, their last name is the same as mine. But if I were that teacher, I'd have caught me a couple with a right hook. They were real disrespectful to that woman, and it was unnecessary. And I remember a young lady standing up in class. We ended up working together later as educators, but I remember her standing up, going completely off on the class, and telling them how disrespectful they were, and this is someone's mother. How dare you, treat her like this? And she was absolutely right, and they absolutely ignored her.
No, I'm sure.
And I just kind of was like, well, this is probably why I don't have a problem cutting this class. See y'all later.
Wow.
Because it was rowdy. It was like, why do we even come here?
Well, my Spanish 1 class was taught by the Latin teacher who had some knowledge of Italian, and that's how he got to teach Spanish. So when I got into Spanish too, I was like, bleh, and didn't do as well. But in Spanish 1, like our first day, I think it was our first week, he taught us how to rob a bank because that's useful. Because it was, actually. If you're in...
What? I'm sorry. Did you go to like Mexico, a mob school or something?
I went to Crete Moni. And yeah, it was just...
to rob a bank?
Yeah.
And that was useful because...
Because what if you didn't have any money and you were stuck in Mexico?
I'm not interested in being picked up by the federale. Thank you.
I never went to Mexico, and I only know Yo tengo el baño.
Yeah, you're going to get caught.
Yeah. I was like, El Banco.
Jesus. Please don't rob banks. These are poor decisions.
Yes, they were.
They always get caught. Like, money motivates. And so if you want to galvanize some agencies, rob a bank. They're a-coming.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
No, that's not what I want. What's on your mind today, Miss Dana?
Well, it's not on my mind per se, but last week when I left here, I picked up my daughter and we went to go horseback riding with our horses.
Yay.
Not yay.
I mean, the intent was
The
yay.
intent was yay.
I know this story already.
The actual action, not so yay. So what had happened was...
That sounds like you did something bad, but that's not it, guys.
Well, I've got a girl.
All right.
I have a female horse, and Nefera has a male horse. And we were getting ready, and I tacked her up and, brushed her down. And
What does tacked her up mean?
Put on the saddle and put on the bridle and the reins. And yeah, she was all ready and pretty because she's a pretty horse. And I love her, even though what she did to me was evil. But she didn't do it intentionally. So my horse is a former racehorse. So being a former racehorse, they have certain traits that you need to kind of work with them and try to fix them because they're not really doable for regular riding.
Okay.
So what horses do with racehorses, what they do is the jockey gets up on them and they start walking.
Okay.
Before the jockey is even fully on them, they're walking.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
see what I know.
Yeah, they don't just stand there. So they have to be trained to stand there.
Got it.
And Lady normally is pretty good about it. But last week, she just decided that I'm going to be my old racehorse self. And she started walking off when my leg was not completely over her and in the other stirrup. Okay. So in the midst of me trying to get over, she takes off because I am leaned forward like a jockey. Oh. And she takes off.
But you're not completely on.
I'm not on. So somehow, now I'm unconscious mentally to what actually happened. Nefera told me. Okay. So she takes off, and the last thing I remember is pulling back on her, which is the wrong thing to do with racehorses.
Because that makes them go faster.
Yeah.
I only know that from watching TV.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But it's your natural instinct as a rider.
Yeah, to pull her back.
To pull back. But I was in the position where she felt that she needed to go. Mm-hmm. And so I pulled back on her and made her go
she went faster.
And at this point, my brain switched off. Like, I don't remember anything. Sure. But apparently I was talking and doing stuff, and Nefera told me later. But she took off down. We got to the other end of the arena, which is pretty far. And at some point, I rolled off of her
because you were not completely
because
on
I was
her.
not on her. So I rolled off of her and then landed on my side and back. So I cracked a couple of ribs. Good times.
Jesus.
And apparently I was screaming because I was, I thought I broke my back. But I don't remember any of that. I don't remember laying there. I don't remember time between when Nefera or whoever called the ambulance and the ambulance got there. I don't remember getting in the ambulance. I remember seeing a paramedic over my head talking to me because apparently I'm talking this whole time. Because Nefera's like, yeah, you kept asking me what happened. And you've asked me like 1,000 times.
Wow.
So I don't remember getting to the hospital. I remember being in the hospital. And then at one point, my brain decided that it was going to kick back on for me to remember things. And the last time I asked Nefera, I was like, hey, what happened and where are we? Right. And she goes, you've asked me this about 20 times. And I said, yeah, but I'll remember now.
Right. So tell me again.
Right. So she didn't tell me exactly. I mean, we talked about it later. But she's like, we're in the hospital. You fell off a lady. We're finding out what's wrong with you. I was like, okay. And then I had this neck brace on, which was stabbing the back of my head because my neck is kind of short because, I'm little. I'm a little bit wide. So they had one that fit around my neck, but like it was just like it was jabbing the back of my head.
Sure.
And I was like, I really want to get this thing off. And Farrah's like, you probably shouldn't. Let's wait for the doctor for that. Because you're not a doctor.
Right. You went to media school,
Right.
not doctor school.
You are a media person. You're not a doctor. I'm like, okay. And then they finally were like, okay, we're going to take this off of you and you're fine. But the first time they tried to get me up, they were like, okay, we're going to let you go and blah, blah, blah. Apparently, they did not see my fractures in the x-rays that they took while I was on the bed.
Okay.
So they're like, yeah, I think you're fractured. It's like, okay. So they made me get up, walk across the hallway into where the x-ray room was, because apparently that was, where I got to go. I'm like, I'm walking, and I fell off.
Whose idea was this?
I don't know. I'm like, couldn't you have wheelchaired me into there?
I'm with
Well,
that.
by that time, Farrah's boyfriend had showed up, and he had helped me. So he was so sweet, because apparently I was pretty dirty, and I had been crying a lot. So I had rivers of dirt all over my face.
Rightfully so, you fell off a darn horse.
Right. So he cleaned my face off, and he helped me, walk in to get the x-rays and stuff. And I was like, I really like you. I'm so glad you're with my daughter.
That's very nice. You can tell who people are in times of crises.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So, and Farrah seemed to be calm the whole time. I don't know what she was doing internally, but normally she's pretty calm dealing with things. So, but I was still worried about her.
Sure. I mean, you're a mom. That's
right.
happening. But I promise you, she was as concerned about you. So in her head, part of whatever else was going on, I'm not sure, but I'm sure part of it was she needed to make sure she was calm so she could make sure you were good.
Yeah.
And get all the information she needed.
Right.
I'm like
right.
that. I'll fall apart later, but in the moment,
I got to deal with it now.
Yeah, I am handling it.
Yeah.
And so that's good.
Yeah. So it's been a week and a day now. I'm not on the Oxy whatever because that crap.
Yeah, that's too much.
I needed it.
Sure.
Like I needed it.
Yeah.
Because they put me on morphine when I was there, and I could still feel everything.
Oh my.
So I knew I was in a lot of pain.
Mm-hmm.
But because I don't use any medication normally, they were like, okay, we're going to give you 4 things of morphine. And I was like, yeah, that's probably too much.
Yeah.
And she's like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, let's just do half because I don't.
Because you don't know what to take meds.
Yeah.
Your body would have been like,
Yeah, like, oh, hello. And I'd be like, that. And I don't remember, wouldn't remember anything again. And I was really, I have a control issue with me. So the fact that I lost time really concerns me. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I'm kind of conscious now. I don't really want to
mess that up.
Deal with that. So she gave me half, and it was okay. I mean, I was going to be in pain no matter what.
Sure.
And then a little bit later, I was like, okay, I think I'm ready for the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. Hook me up with that.
It's pretty traumatic.
Yeah. So, I've been healing, and I went to Karen's Spa because, she is the wellness center woman. And I was, there's a funny story. So I did the infrared sauna, and I did the ozone bath.
Okay.
And I had done all 3 things that I'm going to describe. I've done them all. I did them for my birthday. Remember we talked about that. And
I was like, I was just listening to this story. Oh,
yeah, we already had this story.
Right.
Right. It's the same kind of story. However, so instead of doing 15 minutes in each, I did 30 minutes in the sauna, 30 minutes in the ozone bath, and over an hour, which was not a good idea, in the hyperbaric chamber.
Okay.
So I was prepared mentally for the hyperbaric chamber for 30 minutes. And at some point, you have to prepare mentally for that. Because you're in a tube that you can't get out of. And if you have any claustrophobic tendencies whatsoever, it's heightened.
Sure.
So My problem, the first time I ever tried to get into it, which I didn't make it, was when the zippers went. Because they had to zip you up and then and then they inflate it. Yeah, the zippers got me, and I was like, yeah, I can't do this.
Yeah, that's a no for me.
Yeah. And then the second time, for my birthday, I put headphones in so I didn't hear the zippers, because the zipper was what set me off.
Got it.
Now, I'm kind of claustrophobic, but I'm not too bad.
Okay.
I don't like anything touching my face. So that thing wasn't touching my face. It was, and when it blows up, it's a good 2 feet around you.
Okay.
So it's not like, it's just the fact that I couldn't get out myself.
Sure.
So Wanda, who is wonderful.
Wanda.
She is one of Karen's right-hand people. And she saw that she didn't have another client until like 6 o'clock, and I had gone in at 4:30. And she's like, oh, I'll just leave her in there and whatever. Which,
did you know that going in though?
I did not.
Oh.
So a little over an hour passes, and I'm not looking at my phone or anything for time, but I just notice, I'm like, I've been in here a really long time. I hope they didn't forget about me, which isn't something that they could forget about, because that sucker's loud.
Yeah.
Like, you can hear it pumping in the oxygen. Yeah, I'm like, right. It's loud. So, because you can hear it when we're doing classes in the other room. So I know they didn't forget me, that, I know that there's people there. But mentally, my brain just kind of was like, I'm stuck in here. I can't get out. So I'm like, I need out. But I don't feel that I'm projecting enough, because my lung capacity is not what it normally is, because of the pain. And so I start panicking.
Oh no.
And I yelled. So obviously I could get more oxygen in than I thought I could. Mm-hmm. So Wanda comes and she's like, okay, we're gonna do this right now. This is gonna just take a few minutes, because you have to
let it decompress.
Let it decompress and then open it up. And she kept talking to me. She's like, I'm like, okay, as long as there was a person there, I think I was fine.
Yeah.
Because it was the fact that I felt that I was totally alone
in this thing that
I couldn't get out of.
Yeah.
I can move freely. Like, I could roll around. I couldn't really roll around because of my body, but I can.
There's room to.
Yeah, there's room to do a lot. Like, if I wanted to, I probably could have sat up because I'm short.
Okay.
But, you're supposed to usually just lay down in there and be comfortable. But she just kept talking to me, and I was like, okay, I'm okay.
Right, because that's a lot.
Yeah. So I'm a little afraid to get back in there, but apparently that's the best thing for me, and that's why she left me in there. Yeah. Not left me. That sounds like she forgot about me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'd appreciate that.
After that, I got done with my panic attack, and I was like, okay.
That is nothing to play with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was frightening. So.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't want to be out of control.
Well, and because I am such a control freak when it comes to myself. Mm-hmm. I'm not such a control freak with everyone else, but with me, that's why I don't drink. That's why I don't do drugs. That's why I don't do a lot of things, because
I don't ever want to be out of control.
Exactly.
I get it.
Because I need to know
what's happening. I need to have all of my faculties so that if danger arises, I can properly execute a way out.
Exactly.
Oh, I completely get it.
Yeah.
I used to be married to a fireman, and I'm always, when I walk into a space, and I'm not a firefighter, but I'm always looking for a means of egress, meaning how could I get out of here in the event of an emergency? Mm-hmm. And not only am I looking for me, but now I'm cluing everybody else in, like, all right, look.
It's over there.
It's this way and this way and this way, and we meet at the car. Because I typically don't park right next to a building. That's a problem. If anything goes south, not typically. I used to, truth be told, when we were at IMS, I didn't really have an option parking-wise, but I hated parking underground. Because I was like, how you get out of here? Other
Yeah,
than right
don't.
here.
You don't.
Right. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I was.
I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, I kind of feel you with it.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all.
But I used to date a guy who was an officer, and I used to date another guy whose mom was a cop. So, so I always had to not face the exit
Yeah.
because they had to see it, see who's coming in. I'm like,
No, now I'm like that. If I'm out with a guy, I'm always, do you want me to sit here? I'm cognizant of it. And most guys I'm with are like, no, I need to see, what's happening. I'm okay. It's just, I'm with it. I'm girly like that. When it's a guy around, I kind of relax. But if it's just me and my homegirls, I'm like,
I don't. I'm never girly, not even with somebody. I'm like, so now I got to face this way, huh? And that's okay, because there's a big stupid mirror here, and you could look through the big stupid mirror like I'm looking through the big stupid mirror to see that there's no one coming.
That's hilarious. But that's their training kicking in.
Yeah, true. But whatever.
What was it like dating an officer? I've always been afraid. I dealt with enough anxiety being married to someone who ran toward danger when most people ran away.
Right.
So what was that like for you? Because I was like, I'll just be like, you a cop. I can't handle it. I'm scared. You know what I'm saying?
It actually, for me, it wasn't too bad.
Okay. And so, listeners, you have to know that I'm the chicken in most groups I'm a part of. So,
And I'm usually the brave, crazy person, obviously, because I frickin' got a racehorse.
no comments.
Yeah, I could have just got a nice old, just whatever. No, gotta
riding lady.
Gotta get it.
So I want to go back on a horse, but that's okay.
Yeah, she's fine if somebody's leading her.
Yeah, I'm all right. That's okay.
Yeah.
Boo.
Yeah. Well, she's a good horse.
I believe
she's a good girl.
But she doesn't know me.
No.
And she knew you.
Yeah.
That didn't quite work out. So I'm just.
Well, she just went back to her training.
Yeah.
That she had since she was a baby. So what are you going to do? All right. So we were talking about cops.
Dating cops.
Dating cops. We spent a lot of time not going out.
Really?
Yeah. Because that's a little bit of anxiety. It was kind of a little bit of anxiety for him.
Okay.
Because, always
being on in his mind.
Right, exactly. Like looking for situations that might happen. So we just hung out at his house a lot, which we already talked about how basic I am, and I'm totally down with that.
See, I'm trying to go out and hang out, and I'm not, and I'm pretty safe. Like I typically don't like I was in the bank yesterday. That's another story for another episode. But I don't like to spend more than a couple minutes in the bank. And probably because, as we know, I watch the FBI files all day. So I hate being in a bank.
Right.
And I'm like, but I was in there over an hour trying to handle something. I'm like,
I need to get out of here, people.
And I was in Inglewood. Not that, things can't happen anywhere, but I'm like, Lord have mercy. I got the guy outside, like, could you help me get something to eat? I can't. And also, I wasn't going to go in my wallet.
Right here.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just not wise. Yeah, but so, that's probably, I'm just a little bit more on edge. So I would probably be like a cop looking for and anticipating those kinds of situations.
Right.
That might be the issue for me.
Me, I just kind of want to just block everybody else out. Whatever happens, it's happening over there. It's not going to happen with me because I'm invisible.
You're invisible. Yeah, also when people go out, they're always concerned about, what's going to happen, what may or may not jump off. That's why I like private parties, unless I know the spot, and I know the spot well, and I know what security's like.
Right.
I remember some people don't understand how maintaining the outside of whatever their establishment is directly impacts what's on the inside, and whether that's cleaning it, whether that's maintaining, loiterers. And there was an establishment by a neighbor that did not get the traction. It was a nice store, but she did not get the traction that she wanted. And at some point, I guess some complaints run around the neighborhood. This is back in Inglewood where I grew up. you know, and she just felt like we did not support her. Now, me personally, I didn't have a whole lot of money, so I wasn't in space to support her financially by purchasing. But those who did shared with me that, you know, I don't want to come to the store and be accosted by, you know, people hanging out. And it wasn't like people just loitering just to loiter, people from the street. These were apparently friends of friends who were hanging out like that was the spot. And it's like, no, you know what I mean? I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to avoid this area, you know what I mean? Because if I politely say, well, I'm not interested, or no, I don't want, or whatever, then we get the whole, sometimes, not all the time, negative back and forth. So people just have to be cognizant of everything, be you know, because you just don't know what people are thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just kind of, I'm on edge about some things, and other people, I guess, aren't.
Well, yeah.
Tis me. I think it's because I know a story. I know a few stories, but a friend told me about his female friend who was just getting something to eat. And the man asked her, you know, can I have your phone number or whatever he said? And she said, I'm so sorry, you know, I'm married. And then I guess he didn't like that and punched her in her face and broke her orbital bone.
The heck?
See what I'm saying? See how that went completely south for no reason?
Right.
So it's like, huh?
Let me see. Oh, yeah, now I want to date you because you're an abuser.
Exactly.
Hello.
So, you know, you just have to be careful. I know we went around the mulberry bush 25 times about different things, but I promise they all linked back together.
Oh, yes. Very much so. Absolutely. It's all about safety, personal safety.
Man.
So after my incident, well, it was a good thing I was wearing a helmet.
Bless God.
Yeah, because my helmet cracked. So that took all the impact. So
Jesus.
That's what it's supposed to be for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it did its job.
Amen.
But now I'm looking into safety vests.
Okay.
Which can range.
I didn't even know that they had those.
Well, you have to have them for what my daughter wants to do, eventing, which is jumping and running and craziness. I do not want to do these things. I just want to sit on my horse and just go around in circles.
That's about the extent
maybe
of it
on a
for
trail.
Yeah, we did water and that was enough. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
So these safety vests can range from like, I don't know, $50 to like $1,000.
Oh, okay. Do I want the $50 one? I'm afraid.
Maybe.
Okay.
It just kind of depends. But they also have ones with airbags.
Wow.
So, which kind of sounds cool, but kind of isn't, because I read a couple of articles about them that they're probably not the best idea. So you wear them on top of your other safety vest.
Okay.
So, now you've got two safety vests on. You hook it onto your saddle once you get on. And if you don't detach it before you get off, it'll pop out. Because the thing is the strap, what's supposed to happen is when the strap gets disengaged from the actual vest that's still in the saddle, that's when it thinks you're falling. So that's when it deploys.
Got it.
So it deploys outward, so you're not getting, the impact inward like you do from an airbag from your car. But the problem is that you can't tuck and roll, and that is what you're told to do when you're falling off a horse, so you don't get run over by your horse. Which I did not tuck and roll from my, because I don't even remember falling off.
But she was probably going so fast she passed you as you were falling.
That's the consensus that I've gotten. But I also fell sideways, not frontwards or backwards. I just rolled off of her, which good times.
Jesus, I'm just glad you're okay. And if you wouldn't frighten me on Facebook the way you did, because that's how I find out, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, that's how everyone found out, except for my mom. I was like, did you call Grandma? Did you call Grandma? And she's like, yeah, I called Grandma. She was just getting really frustrated with me asking the same question over and over again because I didn't remember asking it before. So Yeah, she was just like, yes. I'm like, is she coming? No, she's not coming. I was like, wait.
Of course she's coming.
No, she didn't actually. She did not come because I guess Nefera talked to her and was like, yeah, they're going to send her home.
Okay.
You don't need to come in.
Yeah, makes sense.
Whatever. So I got home at midnight.
Yeah.
So
That's when I saw your post. I was
yeah.
like, oh, okay.
What the heck were you doing up at midnight?
I'd gone to bed early, no, more likely than not. That's what happened. Like last night, I was 6:30 after dealing with the bank situation.
You were
I
just
was
like, and I'm exhausted.
yeah, good night. Absolutely. Well, it's been an interesting conversation
Yes.
here in DC on Our Minds. Personal safety. Be careful on your horse.
Be careful when you go out.
Yeah.
Just be careful.
Let the cop lead if you're dating one. All of these fun things. Don't forget to check us out on all of our social media pages, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and of course, Instagram. Follow us daily. Well, listen to us daily on tlctalkradio.com. Yay, we're live. And we are excited. We will catch you next week.
Peace.